The content in this book may not be suitable for persons under the age of 18 due to strong language and adult situations. Discretion advised. Chapter 1. Nadia. If there were ever a time I needed to look in the mirror, it would be tonight. What am I doing here in this room full of losers? Oh wait, I'm here, so I guess I'm a loser too? This certainly is humbling. You would think I would know better than to take advice from Carmen Can't Keep a Man Woods. I would die if any of my friends saw me in here. Note to self, give Carmen a tongue lashing tomorrow. Better yet, never mention I was here. I can barely hear myself think with Lady Chatterley sitting next to me. For the love of God, someone please shut this woman's mouth. I have been smiling and nodding the entire time she has been yapping her purple lips, but I haven't heard a word she said. Well, what do we have here? This one seems pretty full of herself. I can tell from looking at her designer shoes, whatever problems she's facing, it is most likely her fault. I shouldn't say that. I don't know this woman, yet still I want to call her Ms. Look at Me. She can't stop looking in the mirror long enough to see what is actually happening in the world. Like how I am intensely watching and judging her. Shame on me. A giant panther could have entered the room and she wouldn't know it. Look up, sweetie. You're not that cute to be clueless. My God, who let King Kong out of her cage? Note to self, don't let that one kick me in the ass. She has to be the tallest, most statuesque white woman I have ever seen. Please don't sit by me. Please don't sit by me. Whew, that was a close one. I might slip and say something slick and she would wipe the floor with me. Next mental note, stop talking about these people. Now what do we have here? Possible lesbians, perhaps? Geez, I hope not. I can't bear to hear what issues they are having. I thought once you gave up on men, you should be happy by process of elimination, right? How could any woman-on-woman relationship have problems when a man isn't involved? Guess I'll find out soon enough. If they do turn out to be a couple, I'll treat myself with donuts tonight. I beg someone, anyone, gas me now. Is the therapist here already? Is she one of these women I have talked about horribly, waiting for the right time to speak? I don't want to be the guinea pig, nor do I want to sit here and waste my time looking at strangers all night. I have talked about them to myself, which I really need to work on. Note to self, work on your bullshit. Finally, the therapist walks in, or at least it better be her, or I'm out of here. I should apologize right now and leave before she gets started. Yeah, I think that is exactly what I'll do. I'll stand up and say, I'm so sorry, but I can't stay. Forgive me for running late. I couldn't get my husband off of me, she says. Wait, what? Did I just hear her greet us with personal information about herself? Maybe my nosy ass will stay, after all. I repositioned my jacket and made myself comfortable, eager to hear what she was going to say next. I see we only have women in tonight's session, so allow me to start by asking you all this question. Are you open to sharing your deepest, darkest, most liberating sexual encounters with the people you see in this room? The room fell silent as we all looked around at each other with skepticism. I urge you to answer that question honestly, as it is important for my class. It is the only way I can truly help you. By the way, my name is Dr. Bartley. The room remained silent. I'm going to assume that's a yes to those remained seated. Yes? Okay, let's get started. You with the mirror. Me? Asked the designer shoe girl. Her heavy eye-lined eyes looked confused, and her caramel face had a bit of fear written on it suddenly. Yes, you. You are primping in the middle of the day. Why is that? Don't you want to know my name first? She asked. We'll get to names a little later, but as of now, I want to know why you are constantly staring at yourself in the middle of the day. Because you never know who you are going to meet. Did you plan on meeting someone to impress in a class for people who are sexually frustrated? Maybe, she answered dumbfounded. Do you think that is a good idea? Um, let's start over. What brings you here today? A lady that lives in my building recommended I sit in one of your sessions. She said it was informative and fun. And why would you allow an unlicensed professional tell you where you should seek help? I don't know. Does a part of you not think that maybe it is your first problem? I beg your pardon? What I am asking you is where is your own mind, your own train of thought? Where is your courage to do what you think you should be doing? Don't worry, we'll work on that in the weeks to come. Can you start with someone else, please? I don't want to go first. Of course. How about you? What about me? I asked directly. I saw you getting ready to leave as I walked in. Tell me why. I had second thoughts about staying, I said with a slight attitude. May I ask why? Said Dr. Bartley, still settling in and pulling out her pad and pen. I don't think I belong in here, I said, smug-like. So why did you sit back down? Are we supposed to be completely honest in here? Please, I encourage it. Well, when you blurted out you couldn't get your husband off of you, I was intrigued. That was one hell of a way to enter a room. Your response gives me the sense that you are interested in other people's lives. Am I right? I wouldn't say it like that. I just found what you said to be very honest. You know, I have never met a person that entered a room just as themselves. Nowadays, everyone is either faking it or trying to seem a certain way instead of being seen as they truly are. I agree. So, class, let me inform you that I am all about expressing how one truly feels. I encourage my class to speak freely and honestly. I will push you to stop hiding and reveal your true self. You will have to get personal and dirty and detailed in here. So again, I ask, is everyone in here comfortable with that? And this time, I would like a verbal yes or no. Yes, we all answered. Now back to you, Ms. I don't think I belong here. My name is Nadia, and were you calling me inquisitive earlier? I asked, looking at her with a side eye. See, I told you we would get around to names, and yes, I was. Now tell us, Nadia, what is going on in your life that brought you to us? Is it okay to clarify that everyone in here is here due to issues of a sexual nature or relationship problem? Yes. Okay then. Well, it seems as though I have found the perfect guy minus one detail, which is I hate having sex with him. Why is that? Because his penis is small. Is it small to you, or can you honestly say that it would be small to any woman? His shit is tiny, I emphasized. Would you care to draw it? No, thank you. I would waste your paper. The room filled with smirks and giggles. Then I added, I'm also here because I have only loved one guy in my 29 years of living, and I'm not sure that is normal. It's been 5 years since we broke up, and I compare every guy I go out with to him. How do I get over him? Are you saying you still love him now? I don't think I do. It's complicated. I should hate him, and in a way I do, but at the same time I think about him a lot. I constantly replay the good times we shared, especially the sex. I kind of think of him as perfect. Perfect how? In every way imaginable. The way he walked into a room and commanded attention. The way he smelled, whether clean or dirty. The way he looked at me when he said he loved me. The way he was so in tune with my body when we made love. He was just perfect in my eyes. I seriously need to get over him, but 5 years later, here I am. No one is perfect. You loved this man, so you loved his flaws as well. Why did the relationship end? I couldn't trust him, which led to my nagging. Stop right there. Don't give him your power. Why couldn't you trust him? I suspected he was cheating on me. Was he? I guess so. Did you ever find evidence? Did you see him with someone else? Yes, but it was in public, at a sporting event, and he looked at her the way he looked at me. I got that feeling in my bones that he was lying to me, and I couldn't get past what I saw. He claimed it was nothing, but I couldn't stop obsessing over what I know I saw, so we broke up. Why are you blaming yourself for what he did? Because I never got proof that he slept with her. I could only assume, and to be honest, I think I messed up what we had. You're blaming yourself again. You trusted your gut. Your gut is never wrong. So you think I was right to end it? I do. But what does it say about me that I would take him back? Has he tried to come back? A long time ago, but I still believed he was involved with that other woman, so I pushed him further away, with the occasional slip-up. By slip-up, you mean sex? Yes, why? Because he was that good. Because I was still in love with him. Because I missed him. Because you were lonely. Yes, because I was lonely. So you allowed him to have this other relationship, and while you yourself had nothing going on romantically? When did you eventually break all ties with him? A few months after we split up. If he walked through that door right now, would you take him back? It's so hard to meet a decent man nowadays that I believe I would. Big mistake, said the alabaster Amazon. Excuse me, I asked. Women always make that mistake. Men never forgive a woman for cheating, the Amazon added. Sounds like we know why you are here, but let's get finished with Nadia's issue first, said Dr. Bartley. As I was saying, I still love him. I miss him. I can't find anyone else that comes close to him. Something has to be wrong with me if he can still have this effect on me for 5 years after our breakup, right? I can't diagnose that something is wrong with you for loving who you love. I can say that this torch you still carry for him is 99.99% the reason you haven't been successful in relationships the past 5 years. I think you need to forgive yourself for continuing to sleep with him after your breakup. Once you forgive yourself, you will find that you are able to open up to new possibilities. How much do you like this new guy? I like him enough to fake orgasms. And for the record, I would just like to say that I know I am not the only woman in here that has a problem with little meat. I waited for someone else to chime in, but no one spoke. Dr. Bartley then asked the room, is there anyone else suffering from the same dilemma as Nadia? She circled the group twice with her eyes, looking for another brave soul to raise their hand, but no one did. She then began telling me of situations where a smaller rod could please a woman when the couple connected on an emotional level. As she began to explain ways she could help me to become more coupled in my relationship, one of the women I labeled as a lesbian spoke. I too have this problem. Ah, finally, the courage is spreading amongst the room, said Dr. Bartley. Hi everyone, I'm Mallory, and I'm dating a black guy with a small penis too. That is unheard of, said the Amazon. Oh no, they are out there, trust, she responded. I thought you two were lesbians, I blurted out, pointing at Mallory and her neighbor. Lesbians? Why would you think that? She is my best friend, she responded. Maybe that's what I was reading from you two. I apologize if I have offended either of you, I said to Mallory and her friend. It's okay. It's not the first time I've heard that, said the friend. No, thank you for speaking up. I didn't want to be the only one in here living with the shame of sleeping with a small cock, I joked. Don't forget emotionally attached to a cheater, added the Amazon. Do I know you? I asked my heckler. Again, we will get to you. Dr. Bartley lingered, waiting for her to answer. It's Vaughn, the Amazon answered. Nice to meet you, Vaughn, and I promise we will let you have the floor soon. Now, Mallory, what gave you the courage to speak up? I understand her frustration, said Mallory, slightly pointing at me, and you would have eventually made your way to me, so I figured this way I wouldn't have to discuss it by myself. I see. So am I right to assume that you feel less ashamed by not being the only person in this room with this issue? I guess so, said Mallory, unsure of how to correctly respond. There is your first mistake. Your problem is your problem, no one else's. Your problem could stem from a physical reason. Her problem could stem from an emotional reason. How emotional can a woman get over some little meat? I joked, sending the room into further mirth. Dr. Bartley looked around the room and patiently waited for the short joke session to die down. She wanted to laugh herself, but held in her chuckles, knowing she would share that joke at the next physician's retreat. If you ladies are done making jokes about tiny cocks and such, I would like for us to continue. The room grew silent, as the faces of everyone were turning red from the amusement. Nadia, are you willing to draw your partner's equipment the way you see it? I'll do it, Mallory exclaimed. Yeah, I'll let her do it, I said. All eyes grew eager to see what Mallory's complaints were about. We stared in her direction, awaiting the big reveal as if she were about to announce a pregnancy result. As she wrapped up her masterpiece, it was interesting to see how much detail she actually put into the drawing. Dr. Bartley took Mallory's art and passed it around the room. I personally found the size of her mate acceptable, compared to what I was dealing with. She then asked, how many find this size to be unsatisfactory? Vaughn and one other attendee raised their hands. Everyone then looked at me because I didn't raise my hand. Can a man shaped like this drawing satisfy you sexually? Dr. Bartley asked me. I have no problem with that size. It's a step up from my current situation. Wow, said the woman sitting next to Vaughn. And you differ? Asked Dr. Bartley. Big time. I'm Emma, by the way, she said. Emma, what if I told you you were wrong? I seriously doubt that. If it's not big and wide, I don't give it any attention. That would frankly piss me off, she responded. Said the doctor. I think she deserves to handle her business elsewhere, Emma added. You only have one life to live, sweetie. I wouldn't waste it with that. You can't take forever. Some women do, I said. And some women cheat, very carefully, added Vaughn. Dr. Bartley interjected. The only advice I suggest any of you take would be from me. Sometimes you can love a man and feel a connection to him so intimately that his size wouldn't matter. Nadia and Mallory, I have a homework assignment for you. I want you to visit an adult store and purchase a vibrator in the size of your choice. You want us to go buy a magic stick? Asked Mallory. Well, the one you have now is lacking magic, said Vaughn cattily. I can't wait to find out why you're in here, I sassed. As I was saying, make your purchase and introduce it to your partner. Discuss what you want to experience by using it with him. Some male egos won't allow them to try an accessory in the bedroom, but if your partner is willing, he can see how much pleasure it brings you. You can begin to connect with each other in areas that will deepen your intimacy. Has this worked with other people that have attended your sessions? Asked Mallory. It actually has. Some of my former students reported that their partner enjoyed seeing how they reacted to it. Others said it turned their partner on. When you care about your partner, you want to satisfy them, and a relationship is about giving and receiving. Wish me luck. You may have saved me from letting a good one get away. And remember to forgive yourself. We'll check in with you two at the end of next week's class, after we begin with Vaughn. Yes, we will, I said, eyeing Vaughn, knowing I was scared she would kick my ass. I hung back until she was long gone. Then I left, hopeful that the doctor's suggestion would fix my relationship with Evan. I needed to feel connected to him if I was going to stay with him, and honestly, I was tired of faking it. If it didn't work, at least Dr. Bartley told me how I could get over my shady ex. As my thoughts were getting carried away, I remembered to swing by the market. I ordered a cheese tray for Taylor's bridal shower on tomorrow, a few bottles of Chardonnay, and some red for myself. Next, I drove uptown to the more colorful side of Charlotte and parked outside the hellish walls of Down Under. I was pretty sure the woman working at the counter spotted me sitting there and was waiting on me to find my nerve to come inside. Eventually, I strolled in where she kindly greeted me and asked if I was looking for anything in particular. My mouth grew numb as I shook my head no, unable to take my eyes off her see-through negligee peeking from under her sheer blouse. She may as well be topless, I thought to myself. Rummaging about and quietly giggling at the display of erotic toys, books, and novelties, I bravely approached the counter with my very first oversized vibrator, a book, and a sexual board game. Doing my best to avoid direct eye contact with the sales clerk, I pretended to search for my wallet as she scanned my items. She insisted on making conversation with me, asking if I would like to sign up for a rewards card and such, and I must admit, I admired her relaxed nature. I wished I could have been that casual about my experience, but I was slightly embarrassed to be in there, and also anxious to try my novelties. Upon my exit, the clerk smiled and thanked me for coming in. I was almost out of the door when she mentioned, "That book gets really good in chapter 4. It's such a good read." "I'm glad I picked this one then," I said, trying to keep it short. "I'm sorry for staring at you earlier. I thought you were a girl I went to school with. You have the same smooth cocoa skin, and she wore her hair in a bob also, but yours is longer." "Thank you. I'll give the credit to moisturizer. What's your friend's name?" "Mona. I'm from Florida. That's why I was shocked to see a familiar face." "Well, that's the first time I have learned I have a doppelganger. Good to know. By the way, check out our website. Sometimes we have live readings by the authors. Bring a friend." "I'll be sure to check that out. Thanks," I said, gripping my bag full of goodies, rushing out of the door. Once I was home, I took a short, mildly cool shower, fixed myself a snack, and settled in to let my curiosity get the best of me. I was long overdue for a release, and was pretty sure I could get myself where I needed to go fast as hell. Thinking about what the sales lady said, I poured a glass of red and began reading my novel to set the mood. As interesting as it was, I didn't have the patience to read to chapter 4. The minor love scene in chapter 2 was heated enough to make me turn on Buzz Lightyear, and instantly the vibration titillated the juncture of my inner thighs. The compartment in the front found my stimulating spot I had never personally explored. As I exploded with passion before the rotating tip had a chance to penetrate. Panting heavily, dazed, relaxed, and astounded, I laid on my side of the bed with one hand limp and the other across my chest. My heart was racing as if I'd just completed a workout. In a way, I had. But instead of thinking about the fun I was going to have with Evan, Dylan was still on my mind. I felt ridiculous thinking about him, but I realized that a toy couldn't give me what I was looking for. Evan was a good catch. He just wasn't what I wanted. And Dylan wasn't what I needed. 5 years, I yelled at myself internally, wishing I could speed up the process of forgiving myself so I could move on. Dylan was consuming my very existence as I lay there, clinging to the love and lust I had for him. With his memory flashing before me, I drifted into a deep sleep, and the next thing I knew, it was morning.